The Apple Box. Oh!
Despite damage from Cyclone Gabrielle in February, a healthy payout in time for Christmas is coming to the consumer owners of Unison networks. The lines company has reported the same profit this year as it did in 2022, $15.8 million, when a payment of $240 was made to Unison's Napier and Hastings consumers. This year's profit announcement was made at the annual public meeting of the Hawke's Bay Power Consumers Trust on Wednesday. The trust holds Unison shares on behalf of consumers and appoints the Unison board. The trust is under fire from lobby group Free the Funds, which wants Unison consumers to be rid of the trust and hold their shares individually, pocketing a much larger payout should they choose to sell the Unison shares.
Free the Funds wants to provide some openness and transparency to the ownership of Unison. Our objective would be to see that the shares in Unison are distributed to beneficiaries, that is power consumers, as is their right, rather than being managed collectively by the Power Consumers Trust. And that gives the beneficiaries the direct ownership of the shares and the ability to hold them and receive dividends, or perhaps to sell them if they wish.
But it's a pretty good system as it is now, isn't it?
One might say that. There is quite a lot of support for the present system whereby the trust owns all the shares on behalf of the beneficiaries, but the beneficiaries have very little impact or say in the trust activities or in the management of the shares.
So if people did get shares and they were listed, what would they be worth?
Potentially $12,000 per parcel. There are 61,000 odd beneficiaries. There are 64 million shares on offer.
Free the Funds has a chance to be rid of the trust through an ownership review currently underway, with consumer submissions on the review due later this year. Trust Chair Diana Curtin said despite Cyclone Gabrielle costs, she was optimistic future dividend payments would continue to increase because dividends were primarily driven from non-network companies owned by Unison, with the trust holding funds to top up any dip in dividends. Patrick O'Sullivan for Bay Buzz.